At the stage you're at, what happens is it's so easy to go into like super critical mode, especially if you've done like some editing with it. The best
Yeah.
thing actually is like read it out loud and do the best that you can, and then pass it off to someone else. I'm not a fan of AI editing. It's also just like systematically how it's designed. It's designed to keep you on this hamster wheel of like this could be different, this could be better, this could be better. So like
Fascinating.
that's where like a human will be like, okay, like I'm gonna do the copy edit. I'm gonna
Yeah.
do the like whatever you're paying them for. They're
Yeah.
gonna do that level of editing and they're gonna
Yeah.
give it back to you because they you paid for a certain allotment essentially.
Yeah.
That to me is like the phase that you're at. And if you
Yeah.
stay doing the same thing, AI will tell you to re-edit this stuff forever. I
Oh,
get it. I really get it. And I really do feel on one hand, it's like there's so much usefulness with this. They can drive you insane
yeah.
or make you question things that
Yeah.
you wrote in like a total state of like creative power. Who cares if it's grammatically correct? It's powerful and it'll make
Yeah.
you better. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the like real human discernment. And so we
Yeah.
gotta be like careful with that. And it's not like a checklist. It's not that
Mm.
black and white. It's more like, okay, like sometimes it's this and sometimes it's that, you know. It's kind of a new world with the AI stuff in the sense
Yeah.
that that wasn't an issue in publishing 5 years ago, you know. Like I'll give you an example of this. The other day I was using one of the tools that I'm testing critiques on an email. And I
Hmm.
was like, and it gave me back these critiques, and I was like, I get what you're doing. Everything you're saying makes sense. Like it logically makes sense based off of frameworks and selling and sales psychology. And I was like, but I don't like this. I'm just going to send my
Yeah.
email.
Yeah.
And sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. And so I think
Mm.
that's where it gets lost is sometimes people lose like the discernment. Sometimes it is helpful, and
Yeah.
sometimes it will craft your offers better. And other
Yeah.
times you'll read it and you're like, sounds like pretty words that are dead.
Totally.
For like the frequency, and I think that's probably the best way of saying it.
Yeah.
Not just like feeling is too flippant to me. There is something to it, you know. The power that you create with
Mm.
matters more than anything else. The power behind an offer matters way more than how nice your funnel is or your sales page or your ad copy or any of this crap. Not
Mm.
saying that's not important. Sure is. But like it's almost irrelevant if the frequency that you were in when you wrote it is like just so elevated that it just takes it all away. I saw this thing on Instagram the other day, and it was this guy talking about like, marriage stuff and relationship things. And I was like, it wasn't the prettiest or the most poetic by any means, but I was like, whatever you're doing right now, like
Mm.
this is just like visceral, savage truth versus just these are nice words
Mm.
following a framework. And frameworks are extremely useful when you're learning things, structuring things, or taking something from the abstract, to the more tangible. All of that will get dissipated when the potency of what you're creating is just like raw. You can't always manufacture that. So I'm not going to say that it's always like that every time. But I do think that there's like a certain awareness that happens where you're like,
Mm.
okay, am I creating right now with these tools to be clever, make more money, da da da? Or like, do I really want to sell this thing? Does this thing like really mean something to me? Does this story like really have something inside of me? I don't want to make it this like black and white, like you can only create when you're in that state. But you guys also create enough to know the difference. I was out skiing this morning with my best friend, and he was like, "Hey, how's business going? Like, what's different?" And I was like, like AI has changed a lot of things. I told him. I was like, it's really changed a lot of things. And there's a lot of ways that I'm using it that are really useful and like teaching that to my students and it's really useful. But there's a lot of dangers with it too, and it's changed the marketplace. And I said to him, I said, the thing that the thing that I've become aware of is like, if you lean too much on it, will dilute to the voice. When you write from the voice, you could have one email that does better than 300 other emails you've ever written, simply because of that frequency of that transmission. And on the flip side, there are so many ways that utilizing AI tools will collapse time where people get stuck along the way to getting to that point. So I said to him, I said, it's different now because there's more discernment required. And that really matters a lot, because if you have 10 million things coming at you, but you haven't cultivated your discernment, then you won't know how to filter that. And your filtering system is actually the most important thing. That is like modern wisdom. There's more stuff coming at us than in any generation prior to us. And our nervous systems haven't calibrated to that. So the only way that we can filter that is we have to go higher. This is literally the only choice. And I haven't said it that directly, but I'll just tell you because this is the truth. You can't filter that many things. The only way you can filter that is go directly to the divine. Have to go to God. And you know that's true when I say it. Because it's the only possible way. No matter what happens in the world around us, you know your source. And it's hard because it's not like the sellable thing. It's hard for me to sell that. The only way you filter all this information is you go to God. And from there, you have a sense of like, that's weak, that's strong.